All right, everybody, how y'all doing, man? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. And I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells coming at you. And we're gonna kind of look back on some of the things on how I predicted the East and West divisions to finish. We'll have a few other news and notes to go over. It's just gonna be a little quick hitter. I'm not gonna be on here too long. Gonna get in, get out. Obviously there's still a lot of Coach Prime news going on, but I'm not really gonna get into that yet. I'm gonna let some more things play out, and then I'll probably talk about that some more. Got a Celebration Bowl coming up next week. We're gonna start our season recaps also probably over the weekend. So got a lot coming down the pipe for you. Make sure you hit those socials. Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Like the videos and share them, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have subscribed, man, thank you so much, and let somebody else know to subscribe, because we trying to get these numbers up to 800. Make sure you like the videos, because that definitely helps with the algorithm and all of that YouTube foolishness. So you make sure you like the videos and share them, and feel free to comment, man, on how you think the season turned out. I'm just gonna kind of go over how I predicted the East and West to finish, and then we'll just kind of talk about how the season went. Obviously, starting in the East, I picked Jackson State to win the division. I picked them to win the conference. I think I had picked them to lose one random game somewhere on the schedule, but they went undefeated. 8-0 in conference, 12-0 overall. Looking to go 13-0 after the Celebration Bowl. A lot of interest and intrigue in that, because who's leaving, who's staying. Coach Prime said he coaching the game, but what's the response going to be like? So a lot of things up in the air for that game, but should be a good game, and hopefully you can pick up the win. The SWAC need a win in this game in the worst way, so hopefully they can pick up a victory there. I had Florida A&M pick second, and again they finished 7-1 just like last season, 9-2 overall. Finished the season on a 9-game winning streak after losing to North Carolina and Jackson State. They were able to put it all together and run through the rest of the conference. Pick up a couple of out of conference victories along the way, and finish with a solid record. Offense led by Musa and Xavier Smith, big time. Passing attack, defense was solid. May not have been as spectacular as last season, but they were solid and very, very deadly. And they really, made their mark in the league. Missed out on the playoff spot, but that is what it is. The third place team was Alabama State, and I had them pick third. They finished 4-4 in conference and 6-5 overall. So they got their first winning season in a few years. They had a chance late in the season to maybe bump up a spot, but they lost to FAMU. And then they lost to Pine Bluff, which, really put a dent at the end of their season. But they did pick up a MEAC SWAC victory against Howard, so that was good. And their defense was tremendous this season. Offense was hit or miss. You just never knew what you were going to get from them offensively. They typically didn't score a lot of points, and they kind of struggled to move the ball at times, but they stopped everybody pretty much to a degree. And slowed teams down and gave the offense ample opportunities, but they were unable to finish games offensively. I had Valley pick fourth place, but Alabama and them finished fourth at 4-4 and 4-7. What a strange season for the Bulldogs. They started off 0-4. They tough non-conference late. Lost to FAMU early in the season. Was able to, pick up a couple of victories in the middle of the season. Then, kind of lost to JSU at the end, and then they finished their season out with a victory in their last game against Texas Southern. But they, they were a team who the offense took a while to get going. They played two quarterbacks. Donovan Eaglin came on as running back. Guys like Ibrahim was, battling injury all year, so some other guys stepped up. But this defense was a lot better than last season. Still not great, but they were better than last season. and they found themselves finishing 500 in the conference, which at the start of the season it didn't even look like they would reach that point, but they were able to make it to a 500 conference record and a 4-7 record overall. Valley was a team that a lot of people were very high on. I picked them fourth, so I had some hopes for them, but they just really got out the gates real slow. They did finish strong, winning 2 of their last 3. So they finished pretty strong at the end. Got a victory over Alabama A&M. Beat Prairie View the last week of the season. They played hard in every game. They weren't necessarily out of very many games. They didn't get blowed out a lot out in conference. They took some tough losses out of conference, but they didn't really take a lot of blowouts in conference. And they fought, but they just were unable to get things going offensively. Just never was able to get on the right track. Defense was salty as usual. Ronnie Thomas was a guy who made his name. He had a legitimate claim to Defensive Player of the Year, playing on Valley's defense. So the guy was really a big time baller on that defense. Bethune-Cookman, I picked them last in the East, and they finished 2-6 by virtue of losing to Valley. They lost the tiebreaker for that spot, and 2-9. So season still not a great record. Ultimately ended up, letting go Coach Sims. Season was basically record-wise similar, or maybe the same as last season, but it didn't go as they didn't start off 0-8 like last year. They started off slow, but they picked up a couple of victories here and there. But this team had a really good offense. The offense was very underrated by a lot of people. They finished 3rd or 4th in total offense. Jalen Jones, really did a great job with that offense. Quayshawn Bird, Kamari Averett, they did a really good job with that offense. Defensively, the defense was very porous, and they gave up a lot of yards and points. So they needed all that explosive offense. They needed it to stay in games. They lost the game, 50, 55, 45 or something like that to Prairie View. So they gave up a lot of points, but they were able to score a lot of points. And they were an exciting offense, but defensively they left a lot to be desired. So now they're in the hunt for a new coach, and we'll see how that turns out. Over on the West side, I picked Alcorn to win the West, because I always feel like you just don't doubt Alcorn. But they started off the conference slate really strong, and then the middle of the season, man, they hit a slide. Man, they lost to Southern, Texas Southern, and Grambling, and they righted the ship and beat Prairie View, but they ultimately ended up losing to Jackson State at the end of the season. But this was a team that looked like they were gonna be in the mix, man. Jarvion Howard, SWAC leading rusher, SWAC newcomer of the year, big time guy, all SWAC first team running back, bowling ball guy, man. Just really was a guy that Alcorn really, put the saddle on and rode him all the way through the season. But quarterback play, was up and down. Aaron Allen got hurt. Starting quarterback had to play a freshman, and the offense just really couldn't get that passing game really clicking toward the later end of the season. So they finished they finished at 4-4. They finished in 4th place at 4-4 and 5-6 overall. So not a really good season for Alcorn. And like I said, I picked them first. They finished 4th. That's a big drop off. I picked Southern second, and Southern, by virtue of elimination, won the West. Not necessarily won it outright. They kind of backdoored it, they needed a lot of things to happen on the second to last week of the season, and it all happened, and they found themselves in the championship game. Southern finished 5-3 and 7-5 overall. This team wasn't, they were an enigma, man. When they were good, they were good. When they were bad, they were very bad. Got shut out twice. Scored 14 points in one loss. Scored 17 in another. 24 against JSU in the championship game. Had a lot of blowouts on the other side. Went to Prairie View and won a game by 32. Blew out Pine Bluff. Had a 20-point win over Valley. Won by 17 against Grambling, but that wasn't necessarily a blowout. That was a game that they needed every point at the end to win. A couple of non-conference games that probably shouldn't have been played that ended up in big blowouts. But this team was an up and down team. When it came to playing against the teams ahead of them, they really could not get the job done, and they basically, by virtual elimination, won the division and finished, at 5-3 in conference. I picked Prairie View third, and they finished second at 5-3 and 6-5 overall. Prairie View had they were in the mix all season. They had a couple opportunities to take the division by in a stranglehold, but they really couldn't get it done. They lost to Alcorn when they had a chance to take hold of the division. Got another chance and basically had to beat Prairie View to win the division and lost that game. So they had a couple opportunities, but late in the season they kind of faltered, and that put them on the outside looking in at second place. But this team was a very running the ball. This team was a great running offense, led the league in rushing. Defense was pretty solid. They had some big playability. They did give up some plays here and there, but the offense really couldn't get the passing game going, and that hurt them in a couple of their losses. But they were able to run the ball like crazy in pretty much every game. Third, I picked Grambling to finish fourth, and they finished fifth. This team really struggled all season, man. They lost to Arkansas State to open the season, blew out Northwestern State, and then they went on a slide from then. And really, it was until mid-season, almost the end of the season, they beat Pine Bluff and Alcorn to pick up their 2 conference victories, and they had a chance in the Bayou Classic to get the win, but they came up short. But this team really did not get it done offensively. Quarterback play was up and down. The running game was really solid, but they never had a good rotation on their backs. They just, were hit or miss with the whole team. Lewis Matthews was a really good guy on their defense. Sandiata Anderson, another great guy on their defense. Maurice Washington was a guy that averaged double-digit yards per carry during the season. Didn't play, missed a few games, but, he was a guy that was explosive. Never really got a lot of carries, though. I think he only got more than 10 carries like twice on the season. So just never really got a lot of opportunities. But when he got the ball in his hands, he was explosive and made a lot of plays. But they just, wasn't able to win many games in the middle of the season. I picked Texas Southern fifth. They finished third. Had a chance to win the SWAC West. Lost to Alabama A&M at the end of the season. Blew a 20-3 lead, ended up losing 24-20. Defensively, this team turned a corner in a major way. If you remember listening to anything that I ever said in the preseason about Texas Southern, I was like, their defense scares me, man. I didn't know if they would be able to get it done. I felt like they were a liability, but their defense stepped up. The secondary was tremendous. They led the league in interceptions with 16. Isaiah Hamilton was a guy who pick six machine, man. He got the ball in his hands. He was gone. You had guys like Akins and Anderson on the defensive line, Cooper and Williams in the linebacking core. The offense was not what a lot of people expected this season. They kind of took a slight step back, but they still were able to score points when they needed them. They had a three-headed attack in the run game. I think receiver play was kind of an issue early. They just kind of took a step back, but the defense really rose to the occasion and helped this team finish at 4-4 and 5-6 overall. So they played a really solid season, and to finish third with a chance to win a division at the end of the season, you can't ask for much more than that for a team that a lot of people picked to finish last. I picked them fifth. Because the West was such a crapshoot, man. It was like you could really put anybody's name in a hat and put them in any spot 1 through 5, and you would have came out pretty good. Pine Bluff finished last at 1-7 and 3-8, and I had them pick last. Doc Gamble got let go mid-season. This team, just did not look good at all. They started off the season with a couple non-conference lower division victories. They lost to Oklahoma State, and then the wheels completely fell off, man. They had a game at Alcorn. Half the team got broke up, and then, they went to Southern and got blowed out, and they just, from that point on, quarterback play was iffy because they had a lot of freshmen playing. Kayvon Britton was a very bright spot in that offense. He ran for over 200 yards against Alabama A&M. Had a big game in the Turkey Day Classic against Alabama State to get them a victory at the end of the season and give them a SWAC victory, and so they didn't go winless in conference, and giving them an FCS win as well. So, just a team that just, struggling to find an identity, struggling to find a lot of talent, had a lot of injuries, and just really never was able to, round the corner. They came up short quite a few times this season. So, just, was unable to really get it done. So, I'm that's another team I'm kind of interested to see what they do, with their coaching search. A lot of names been thrown around for that spot, but we'll see what they do. It's very important that they make a good hire. Bethune-Cookman as well. Obviously, everybody, when you have a coaching search, it's important to make a good hire. But I think that it's very, very important that this team doesn't fall any farther behind than they already are. So that's pretty much, where I stand right now. Like I said, I just want to kind of get in and talk about, my predictions for the season and how they kind of turned out. We're going to recap the season next week, starting Sunday, and I'm going to probably do it like an East and a West show, and we'll kind of go over everybody's season and kind of see what's what. Really quickly, going to take a look at the Legacy Bowl. It's coming up, obviously. That's in New Orleans. They haven't announced the full set of guys on the rosters yet, but I do know that Bethune-Cookman is going to be represented by Kamari Everett and Quayshawn Bird. Jason Dumas from Southern will be there. Ronnie Thomas from Valley also will be there. Mark Evans from Pine Bluff will be there as well. Those are some of the guys who have been announced at this point. This is going to be, I think the Legacy Bowl, man, is a game that really offers a lot. It really gives you an opportunity to kind of, make a name for yourself and work out in front of scouts. And, I think they're pairing the HBCU Combine with that game this season. So really, just a lot of opportunity coming your way in this game. So as those names come out, I'll start to put more out. I may have missed a few. If anybody else has been named there already, if they have, and I missed them, want you to let me know in the comments. I'm looking forward to it, man. I went to the Legacy Bowl last year. I thought it was a really good thing. We ran really well, and it was an enjoyable day. The game, the game was an all-star game, so it wasn't the best game to see in terms of, action, and everything. But I thought that it was put on well, and it was an enjoyable time. So I'm looking forward to another year of it. I'm definitely going to try to make that trip to New Orleans again to catch that game and see how that turns out. Other than that, man, don't really have a whole lot going on. So, I mean, obviously, we can rehash and hash the Coach Prime stuff, all day if we needed to. But I'm gonna look at some of the guys who are also gonna be in the HBCU Pigskin Showdown, which takes place on Saturday, December 17th at 12 noon. So that game is opposite the Celebration Bowl. The game can be seen on CNBC and the Peacock app. So make sure if you can check that out if you want. If you maybe flip back and forth with the Celebration Bowl. Just a few of the names that are SWAC guys that are in this game. Corian Harris from Southern has made the game. Just gonna scroll through and see Claudine Cherilus from Alcorn as another big guy to make it. They're gonna have quite a few NFL teams in attendance. So that's something that you really should really be good to see. Santo Dunn and Brandon Gaddy from Alabama State both are gonna be there. Just kind of scrolling through this. Let's see if I can find anybody else. AJ Davis, running back from FAMU, is also going to be there. Troy James from Prairie View, also Big T. Roy James, gonna be there. That's another guy who I expect to make a good impact in this game. Excuse me. So there's quite a few other guys that have been announced. I'm trying to get to the actual roster that they had put out. But my computer is being mad difficult today. Kevin Harris from Texas Southern is another name to keep a lookout for in this game. But let's see if I can find it. Let's try this. So, like I said, the more opportunities that guys get to, to impress, scouts and work out for scouts and the different teams, I think is the better. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm probably gonna be locked in to the Celebration Bowl, but I'm definitely gonna try to keep my eyes out on this game. Kind of wish it was a different day and time, but they have their own arrangements that they need to do. So you kind of have to go with what's going on, but definitely gonna try to maybe flip back and forth on these and see what's going on. So really, like I said, just really looking forward to seeing what happens. So, with that being said, man, I'm your boy C Wells, and like I said, it was just a little quick hitter. Gonna get in, get out, but y'all enjoy y'all Wednesday, and we'll catch y'all live on Thursday with SWAC Smoke, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll start to recap the season after that. So, with that being said, I'm your boy C Wells signing out, man. Y'all have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.